What's up, ADA gang? Welcome into Dapp Central, your home for everything blockchain and crypto. I'm your host here for Read, a brief news update here for the Cardano ecosystem. We're going to be taking a look at the entire market, speaking about the fact that a couple of ETFs have actually been shot down or at least slightly delayed. However, in a interesting turn of events, Cardano is not listed. In addition, we've got the Hoskinson family, obviously related to Charles Hoskinson, investing a hefty amount into W3I, the company behind Moneta, which has produced the fiat-backed stablecoin USDM in the ecosystem. And then there's a pretty key highlight as it relates to Charles, who's just paid a visit to Japan. And then we're going to close out here with just a little bit of Hopium. Now, this is going to be a relatively quick video. I'll have a much more in-depth news segment coming out later on tonight. So if it's your first time stopping by the channel, if you want some of that content, consider subscribing. If you are an existing viewer and you just want to stay up to date, make sure to turn on those bell notifications. And as always, make sure to smash that thumbs up as we get ready to dive into this news, as it's one of the easiest ways to support me as a content creator. Now, if you want to extend your support for the channel even further, consider delegating your ADA with either of the two Dapp Central stake pools, which both share the ticker DAPP. So as we jump right on in here, we've got a pretty interesting bit of news that just dropped yesterday, stating that the SEC has chosen to delay decisions on multiple crypto ETFs, including a VanEck Spot Solana ETF, the Canary Spot Solana ETF, the Canary XRP ETF, the Grayscale Spot XRP ETF, and then we've got the Canary Spot Litecoin ETF, and then in closing, the Grayscale Spot Dogecoin ETF. Now, what do you guys notice there? Funny enough, no mention of Cardano's Spot ETF or the Cardano's Trust, which should be coming out or which was applied by Grayscale. So obviously that's really bullish. It's not included as one of those that is officially delayed, meaning that there is still the possibility and the chance that we could get that ETF approval, I believe, after the 45-day review and comment period, meaning sometime in mid to late April. Now, it does not mean that, the SEC doesn't reserve the right to maybe delay at a future date their filing or the filing of the ETF done by Grayscale. But as it currently stands, Cardano is in the clear. I wanted to at least kick things off by mentioning that. Next, we've got the charts here, just sort of looking at Bitcoin on the daily, and then briefly Cardano. We've got Bitcoin at a very, very critical point here, currently trading at $80,000 per Bitcoin. We've officially broken a key level of support, which was at around the $90,000 range. So as it currently stands, we are now basically retesting the 200 moving day average. When you look here at the daily time frame, we really need this to hold. We need Bitcoin above this particular average, which currently stands at $83,000. So we really want to see Bitcoin reclaiming that. Otherwise, we could potentially see a death cross, meaning that we could be trading at this range for a little bit longer than anticipated. Now, looking at Cardano on the daily chart, very similar structure here where we've got Cardano resting at a very key level, currently trading at 70 cents. We've got the 200-day moving average coming in at right around that same exact value, 69 cents. And so we're looking for anything above that particular price range. Of course, again, we've taken a look at some of these key levels, and Cardano continues to respect them pretty well. If we take a look at just sort of the competitors to Cardano, which saw a massive pump a couple of days ago when we saw the announcement about the potential crypto reserve for the USA and what assets could be included in that, Cardano not only pumped the hardest when it came to Cardano, XRP, Solana, and ETH and Bitcoin, but it's also one that continues to recover the fastest as Bitcoin does trend or does continue to trend in a downward fashion. And so something that I just wanted to briefly highlight there, right? Obviously, when the market's doing great, Cardano tends to outperform. But then when the market has been dumping, Cardano does tend to hold. But as of late, it does seem to be doing on par with what all the other altcoins or other assets have been doing. So that'll do it there for the macro news pieces. As always, if you enjoy that, please smash that thumbs up. Next, and as we continue the conversation, we've got USDM or W3I, the founders and the creators of USDM, who have now raised or have now gotten a massive investment from the Hoskinson family office. So it states here, major announcement, the Hoskinson family office has chosen to invest $1.5 million. Yes, you heard me correctly, in W3I software. Now, for those who aren't aware, they're the builders of USDM, which is Cardano's first ever MiCA compliant stablecoin. If I'm not mistaken, it was the second ever stablecoin to be MiCA compliant behind USDC. And so if anybody wants to invest in W3I, this is a traditional investment to own a portion of the company that's sort of in charge of developing USDM, which actually is produced by Moneta. And so I know that from a structural standpoint, it does tend to be a lot. Some people may not necessarily understand, but you're essentially investing in the company that's going to be building USDM. And they've also talked about building additional products as a part of a suite, right, for W3I. So let's jump back in here, where it states that the $1.5 million from the Hoskinson family office is fueling the expansion of USDM by Moneta Digital. Again, Cardano's fully regulated fiat-backed stablecoin. Now, why does this matter? Well, USDM is the only stablecoin from the Cardano ecosystem, or one of the few, which is compliant with the EU's MiCA regulations, ensuring it operates legally and transparency in global financial markets. Now, this team has talked about the fact that they want to expand into Australia, the Middle East, Asia, and of course, they've already expanded and sort of launched within the USA, but then also within the European region. Now, what I love about this is the fact that they've partnered up with NBX, who's one of the leading exchanges within the European area, to offer different trading pairs based off of USDM. If I'm not mistaken, you can also onboard or on-ramp and off-ramp straight out of that particular area as well, directly through NBX. Now, we've got a brief quote here from Charles Hoskins, and then we're going to keep the conversation moving, where Charles states, USDM is a critical infrastructure for Cardano's future, and W3I and Moneta have built a stablecoin that meets the highest regulatory standards. Now we're driving institutional adoption across banks, governments, and financial markets. What I love about this is the fact that at a recent event, this was the the Doom on Hydra tournament, Charles actually took the time to highlight the fact that he wants USDM to be the de facto stablecoin when it comes to Cardano, but then when it also comes to Bitcoin on DeFi, and potentially even bringing USDM into the Bitcoin ecosystem. So we're going to see exactly how that plays out there, but Charles and his family office putting their money where their mouth is in supporting one of the biggest builders here in the Cardano ecosystem. And of course, if you've also missed it, we've also seen an additional stablecoin launching, which has been USDA, released by Ansons and developed by Encryptus. Now, while we're on the topic of stablecoins, we've also got Obimare, which has been released, and this is a crypto-backed stablecoin versus Moneta, which is a fiat-backed stablecoin. And so I'm going to be digging a little bit more into Obimare, but they will be working alongside the Moneta team in order to just expand the opportunities and the capabilities of stablecoins for the Cardano ecosystem. Now, in closing, we do have a pretty cool update here, which is the fact that the USDM reserve has officially broken over $10 million, which of course is a pretty big milestone here. And right now, I believe USDA is right around 3.5 to maybe $4 million. Now, while we're speaking about Charles Hoskinson, if you've missed it, he has traveled to Japan. He actually missed out on the recent Trump crypto summit that took place at the White House. That was super lackluster. A lot of people disappointed, including myself. But Charles able to meet Hirata Kuchan. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly there. I do apologize if I did mess that up. But he states it was great meeting that gentleman. We discussed a digital transformation, zero knowledge cryptography, blockchain, and AI with their minister. And so I dove a little bit deeper into this gentleman here. And it states that he is the Minister of IT, Science, Technology, and Innovation and he also focuses on space strategy and intellectual property. Now, he also took the time to acknowledge Charles Hoskinson in his recent visit, where he mentioned that Charles Hoskinson, the founder of the Cardano cryptocurrency, paid him a visit and that they had a meaningful exchange of opinions. Now, does something come out of this? Of course, we'll have to wait to see exactly if anything does. However, I want to end off here on a pretty interesting note here with a little bit of hopium. So shout out to Tyler Burke here for this bit of content. But he states and he believes that we are ready for the third cycle when it comes to just market pumps, especially focusing on Cardano. So you got the first cycle, which took place during the 2018 bull market. This was right around the time that Cardano was still relatively new into the market, worth right around a penny or two. We then saw the second cycle, which kicked off back in 2021, where we saw Cardano peaking at $3.10. After the first market cycle, Cardano had peaked at about $1.08. And right now, as I'm shooting this video, we're primed, in my opinion, for the third cycle. And I think that Tyler here shows us relatively well, even though Cardano is trading at right around 70 cents. Now, he also highlights here, as we get ready to close out, some bullish catalysts. So the first is the Bitcoin on DeFi integrations, or the Bitcoin DeFi integrations. He also highlights the midnight airdrop, Lace Mobile, in the fact that Cardano could and can potentially be added to the US-based crypto stockpile. And then he mentions a couple of key Cardano native tokens, which include Iagon, a decentralized storage protocol here in the ecosystem, SNEC, one of the biggest meme coins, and then Kopi, one of the Web3 builders here as a part of the Cardano community. That will do it there for this brief update. Again, I'll have some more content coming out tonight. But as always, if you've enjoyed this, please smash that thumbs up. If you want more, consider subscribing. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to voice off down below. That said, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next video.